Hello and welcome to another edition of For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. We have a returning guest on the show, at least for the first segment today. She is the Communications Director for the American Heart Association and the American Stroke Association. Michelle Karn joins us again on the show. Welcome.
Thank you.
And whenever you come on the show, Michelle, I know that there's some big doings coming up and some big events, so we're going to talk about them. Two big ones in specific, one in Rhode Island and one in Connecticut. But thanks for being on the show. So let's sort of get into it. What are we going to be talking about today?
Well, this time of year is fall heart walk season. We've got two really great physical fitness and healthy lifestyle promotion events coming up. We have our Greater Westerly Heart Walk on September 27th and our Rocky Neck Heart Walk in Niantic, Connecticut coming up on October 5th.
So let's backtrack a little bit here. People hear the term, the American Heart Association, all the time. Maybe they don't understand exactly what it is, what it's about, what it does. So tell them about that a little bit.
Yeah, our organization, the American Heart and American Stroke Association, is really looking at how can we build healthier lives free from cardiovascular diseases and stroke. And we do that in a number of ways. With educating the public on living a heart-healthy lifestyle, knowing your numbers, knowing your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your glucose, managing your weight and getting active. And we also look at how can we improve the quality of care that we're able to provide for our heart and stroke patients and also prevent heart disease through funding scientific research.
You know, American Heart Association, it's almost misleading because to truly lead a healthy life, it's all aspects of your life, isn't it? You know, it's not just one thing.
Absolutely. We want people to look at their overall heart health. And we've actually set an aggressive goal. By the year 2020, the American Heart Association is working to improve the cardiovascular health of all Americans by 20% and to also reduce deaths and disability by heart disease and stroke by 20%. So we're really looking at how can we fight heart disease and stroke from both sides.
And when something happens to you medically, it really can turn into a domino effect. One thing can lead to diabetes, it can lead to neuropathy, it can lead to things like sleep apnea, just a whole litany of things that can go wrong, right?
Absolutely. We want people to live long, healthy lives. We want people to be there for those special moments in their lives, experience their daughter's graduation, their son's recital, and to be there in those moments, you have got to lead a healthy life so that you can be there and you can be healthy for the people that you love.
Sometimes for some people, they need a scare in their life before they take action and really make a lifestyle change. And for other people, you know, they've gotten the message much earlier.
Mm-hmm. We're really trying to get to people ahead of time to really prevent them having any cardiovascular issues at all. But for some, it's genetic. In fact, for many babies that are born, we have about 32,000 babies born every year with a congenital heart defect. And those range from very simple to more complex. And oftentimes, the babies are diagnosed right at their birth, and they're whisked off for open heart surgery in the first days of their lives. So for those we can prevent heart disease, we do that. And for those that we can't prevent it, we want to make sure that the best possible technology and care is there in place to save those lives.
One of the things that you're very proud of and we'll talk about whenever someone gives you the opportunity is the research and advancement that is taking place. And also, a story you were telling me about some of the great people that you have helped fund and allowed their research to continue. Talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, the American Heart Association is the #1 funder of cardiovascular research, second only to the U.S. government. Since 1949, we've funded $3.5 billion in research, which is just a huge number, $3.5 billion. And over that time, some of the advances we've been part of is open heart surgery, stents, guidelines and techniques to perform CPR. Many of the things that happen to you to save your life were really funded by the American Heart Association. And something that people may not know is the caliber of some of these researchers. In fact, we have funded 13 Nobel Prize winners since 1949. Wow. So we're very proud of that, certainly.
It's like you almost knew, like long before they became Nobel Prize winners, that there's some great research going on here. We have to be involved with this, right?
Yes, our research program is very detail-oriented. It is based on the most meritorious applications that come in, and it is peer reviewed by a panel of other scientists to make sure that we're only funding the best research and the best applications that are out there.
From your point of view, are you able to follow along with, and see how advancements are coming along, and do you see progress, great progress being made?
Sure. Well, even in 1985 was when we first funded research that CPR came out of.
Yeah.
So, 25 years ago, we didn't have CPR. So it's interesting to even look at it, how we can respond to a cardiac emergency in such a better way now than we could before. Another thing is that for people that have strokes, we've learned that if you can get to the hospital within 3 hours, you can receive this drug, TPA, which is a clot-busting drug, which helps many patients avoid any disability. It just busts that clot right out of their brain, and it's saving lives.
How does the American Stroke Association, is it a sister organization of the American Heart Association? Are they one and the same? What is that?
We are one and the same.
Okay.
We are one organization that works on both fronts, but we want to make sure that we're there for cardiologists, neurologists, people that are survivors. We're really an all-encompassing organization.
And now, for those watching today, they're watching throughout Rhode Island and watching in Connecticut. Your territory that you serve as communications director, it's an interesting pattern of geography. Some Rhode Island and some Connecticut, right?
Yes, I cover Rhode Island, southeastern Mass, and southeastern Connecticut. So I have this little southern New England region.
Your office is in Providence.
Yes, we're centrally located in Providence.
But you can go to Wallingford, Connecticut if you need to be involved in like the Hartford area too, right?
The Hartford and the New Haven events are out of Wallingford.
Right, and you have events in both states too. One coming up in Westerly, and one coming up at Rocky Neck State Park in Connecticut too. So you're making the rounds, you're going out and about. And like I said at the beginning of the show, when you're coming on the air, and you've been on the air on the radio with me. As a matter of fact, as we tape this next week, you'll be on the radio with me, with Dr. Foley, who's a cardiologist too. So all things that sort of tie into what you're trying to promote and talk about. And we'll have Annabelle in the second segment to give us her story too. But whenever you're coming on, we know there are big events coming up, walks in particular. And I like the time of year that you do it. It's not in the blazing heat of summer. So everybody schedules their walks either like in the spring or maybe like late summer or fall. And this is perfect. Which one is coming up first?
So the Greater Westerly Heart Walk is September 27th. That is a Saturday. It's actually coming up very, very soon. And that event begins at 8 a.m. with registration. 9 a.m. is when the walk actually kicks off. We go for a walk in beautiful Watch Hill, and we finish off. Last year there were 200 walkers, and we raised over $34,000, which was wonderful. This year we're going to try to beat that and get to $40,000 and get more walkers than we had the previous year. Then the next weekend, because I'm on a Heart Walk tour, if you will.
That's right.
Is October 5th. It is the Sunday, and the event begins at 9. The walk starts at 10. You go through a beautiful walk at Rocky Neck State Park in Niantic, and the goal for that event is to raise $250,000. So that's a real big one.
Yeah, and I have to say that I'm honored to have been a part of it last year. And even the weather wasn't perfect, but there was still a fantastic turnout for that. You made it easy for me to be the MC. Lots of people participated. It was just a fun event.
Yeah.
It wasn't, a walk is fun anyway, but there were just so many other things and so many other activities and forms of entertainment for the whole family. Kids, I saw people walking their dogs there too.
Absolutely.
It was just a fun, describe it if you can, a walk, because it really is it's an event, it's the day.
Sure. We start off with our Festival of Heart Walk activities. So you can learn about your heart. You can take a health screening. You can participate in any of the You're the Cure activities, which is our grassroots advocacy network. It's actually you'rethecure.org. And we work on things like getting smoking out of workplaces, safe routes to school, making sure that children get healthy meals at school that are heart healthy. So you can learn about our advocacy, you can learn about your own heart health, and you can get the family together for a fun day out.
And I don't know if this is going to happen at the Westerly Walk, but at the Rocky Neck Walk, Michelle Karn will sing the national anthem for you.
I will.
You don't mind if I
will
mention
sing
that?
it
Yeah.
at both walks,
Oh,
actually.
okay. All right. Yeah. She's fantastic. Flawless. You do a great
Thank
job
you.
at that, too.
Thank
Now,
you.
I think my co host on the radio is going to be the MC this year, but I'm going to try to get to one. Maybe I'll try the Westerly one this year since I was at the Connecticut one last year.
Absolutely. We want everybody to come down and enjoy it. You should register ahead of time if
Right.
you're going to be a walker. For the Westerly Heart Walk, it's just greaterwesterlyheartwalk.org, or for the Rocky Neck Heart Walk in Connecticut is rockyneckheartwalk.org.
Now, one thing for walks, aside from the participants in the walk, obviously you're doing it to maybe generate funds, donations, but also awareness. How about volunteers? Are you always still looking for volunteers?
Yes, we're always looking for volunteers as well. So you can go to our our Heart Association website, which is just heart.org/SNE, stands for Southern New England. And you can fill out the volunteer form. You can sign up to come help us that day. We need people to help us with parking on the route, our activities, set up, take down, for lunch. We really depend on volunteers to be part of that with us. And we want to celebrate not only those that are there with us, but those that we're walking in memory of.
Right.
A lot of people participate in our tribute or our memorial activities to celebrate those that have fought heart disease and have sadly passed away.
Now, for those that might not be able to actually participate in the walk, maybe they can come and just provide moral support. Just be a part of the event, right?
Absolutely. We want people to come down and to help us spread awareness. So get out on social media, tell your friends about it, tell everybody about this great experience to not only raise awareness, but also to raise funds to fight heart disease and stroke.
When you do the walk, do you form teams, or is it just an individual thing? How does that work?
Oh yeah, teams are great fun.
Yeah.
You can sign up with your company, have a team from your company or your department, or you can have a team of friends and family.
All right. Now, for the Westerly, you're going to be over in Watch Hill. Are we going by Taylor Swift's mansion there, too?
We are.
Oh, we are.
We are going right past the Ocean House as well in Westerly and Watch Hills. So that's one of the most beautiful locations. And the great thing is that the event is small and intimate, and you really get to meet people and be part of a very community-based event.
One more time on the website so people can go and learn more and hopefully participate and be a part of it.
Sure. Our greaterwesterlyheartwalk.org is the site for the Westerly Heart Walk, and the rockyneckheartwalk.org is our Rocky Neck Heart Walk on October 5th.
Michelle Karn, Communications Director for the American Heart Association and the American Stroke Association. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with us. We'll see you out at the walks.
Thank you.
We will take a short break and come back. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay with us. Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest for the second show, it's our first time meeting, but apparently we've been Facebook friends for a while. Annabelle Montalbano, right? Is that right?
Very good, very good.
Wellness coordinator for Westerly Fitness, and as part of American Heart Association, this is an amazing story that Annabelle's going to tell you about, especially considering what you do for a living, wellness and fitness. You're a personal trainer. First of all, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Wherever you want to start, because you know we're really tugging at the heartstrings of the viewers here now, but it's an important story to tell, and I'm sure that you would agree.
It really is an important story to tell because my story is everybody's story. You know, I think that one of the most amazing things about delving into an organization that tugs at your own personal heart really has to bring, there's got to be something that drives you to that. You know, and
whenever there's a vested interest, you really take off with your interest.
Well, it motivates you and it sparks you for action. And I think that volunteering is a really big part of that process. And when I came to be in contact with the American Heart Association in 2010, and I'm not sure that anyone really knew about it, it just happened to be that I was in the midst of planning a series of celebrity bartending events for a restaurant that I used to work for, because I really felt that, you know, going to work in this restaurant, I knew that we could make something more along the lines of community involvement if we did something to really help out the community. So I came up with the idea of having specific events catered to different organizations, different causes, and having someone in the local business area host that along with us and raise money for that event. We did 18 very successful ones, and we were able to raise around $34,000 between all of those for different causes. On March 24th of 2010, about 5 days after the floods hit Westerly, my husband passed away unexpectedly. Perry Montalbano, incredible, incredible person. I can't even tell you what a life force he was. But Perry, at the age of 38 in 2001, went into heart failure. And we discovered at that moment that he had been previously misdiagnosed with asthma. And he never had asthma. He had atrial fibrillation and allergies. And that combination caused some, irregular heartbeats and skipping and shortness of breath. And when they found it, luckily for us, he at the time went to Westerly Hospital, which was still Westerly Hospital,
Right.
not the combination of L&M that is now. And fortunately for us, the ER doctor on duty that night was a cardiologist. And we thought he was going into some kind of an asthma attack, and they felt fluid in his lungs and gave him a shot of Lasix, and he flatlined.
Wow.
And they brought him back, and the doctor just incredibly asked him, have you ever had Lyme disease? And he had. They sent him to the ICU, and they found that his heart was enlarged, and he was diagnosed with cardiomyopathy. When they tried to get his heart back into rhythm a couple of weeks later, they realized that he was perhaps born with atrial fibrillation because his body was very used to the erratic heartbeat and it was comfortable with it. It was the cardiomyopathy that was causing the issues. Flash forward 9 years later, and we had 9 incredible years that we really didn't think we were going to get.
And I think it's amazing that he was living with a person that could not get more healthy than you can get. A
Right.
personal trainer, a wellness coordinator. That doesn't matter if this is something that was misdiagnosed
Yes.
and had in him all his life, but didn't know.
He didn't know. And during that time, I delved fully into fitness in 2004 after having begun my career as actually an aerobics instructor and weight trainer for men in 85, 86. But my career at that time was casino marketing, corporate casino marketing. And, we were both in the casino industry. We actually met at Foxwood. And when I left that business, I opened up my own gym, really learned more and more and more, just delved more into fitness. And when he had already experienced his heart failure when I opened the gym. And what I did find was that you have to be your own advocate. It's really crucial. His cardiologist, Dr. Howard Haronian, amazing, down to the point, an amazing, amazing cardiologist, but busy. So and most doctors that are in that realm of health have so much going on, so many patients, that they really rely on the patients and their families to do some research on their own.
Yeah.
So we became very, very big advocates of our own care. And we changed everything, his diet, his workout, everything. And he did really well.
Now he had an advantage because he was with someone
Yes.
who
Yes.
is a wellness coordinator and you understand diet.
Yes.
And exercise for that
I
matter.
understood that, but I also understood him as an individual. He's not a gym person.
Yeah.
So his love was the outdoors.
Opposites attract then,
Yeah.
apparently.
Well, I love the outdoors
Okay.
too, and I've done many, many things outside. We were avid snowboarders and mountain bikers, so we did a lot outside. And his job was very physical, so he got a lot of work. I think, and I'm sure this is topic for another show at some point. It came down to insurance. It came down to the ability of what you could and couldn't do. Once I was laid off at Foxwoods, once that happened and you lost a big income, you had to reassess your priorities and try to figure out what you could do. So we delved further into our health, found more information, really became the caretaker of not just my husband, but my father-in-law, my brother-in-law.
You looked around and saw,
Yes,
you know what?
there was a
Let's
pattern.
do something there. Let's do something.
There was
Let's
a
fix
pattern.
that. Yeah.
There was a pattern with their upbringing and their diet and the genetic composition that they all had for heart disease. So little by little, we began going further, all of us. And unfortunately, Perry didn't make it. But we did find out so much more. And one of the most important things that I realized when I was called to help out the American Heart Association. And that brings us back to how I became involved. And Lena O'Leary, who's the Vice President of Online Services at the Washington Trust Company, called me and asked if I would like to host with her a bartending event for the American Heart Association.
It's a charity event, right?
Yes, a charity event. And she didn't know about Perry. And I said, you know, I'm actually leaving where I am right now. I'm going to a different place. If you want me to do this for you, can you wait? And she did. And it wasn't until we actually met and sat down with a group of people that she realized why I wanted to be involved. And that was the most successful event that I did. There were over 100 people in this tiny little place, the Bridge Restaurant in Westerly, and we raised so much money. And I just fell in love with Lena and what she was doing, and the committee from the American Heart Association, and the entire process. And having knowledge, I really felt, you know, there's not a lot that I can do, but there's a lot that I can share. And I felt that being part of the American Heart Association and volunteering was a way to make sure that no other wife lost her husband in her arms.
And there's no better advocate than someone who has a personal
Right.
story to tell, or a vested
Yes.
interest in, because something either happened to them or someone very close in their life.
Absolutely. I think it's important to take stock of what is going on in your life in the present moment. And if you have some kind of a passion and have knowledge that could benefit others, I think it's your responsibility to share in some capacity, because there's a reason that you have that knowledge. Why not share it, pay it forward, and help your community? And I love being part of Westerly. Westerly is one of these really unique towns where it's so community driven that sharing events and hosting events has been a lot more fun than work.
They don't necessarily associate themselves with Providence, or sometimes vice versa. You got to go all the way down to Mesquamaket Beach. It's like it's another country to them.
It is, but
Yeah.
how difficult is it to go down to a beautiful beach area?
I know.
My God, just shoot me right now.
You're in a beautiful spot. Did you want to mention you got a Zumba-thon?
We
charity.
have, probably mixing myself up with everybody in the American Heart Association, specifically with Michelle Karn. We got together because I began writing for Westerly Life magazine. I was their health and fitness contributor, and we did a huge story with the American Heart Association, and we actually made the front cover.
Nice.
And it was awesome, and we began to collaborate a little bit more, and we knew that we wanted to do more. And I'm a Zumba instructor. Not only am I the wellness coordinator at Westerly Fitness, but I'm also the lead group instructor, and Zumba is my biggest specialty.
Tell people what Zumba is.
Zumba is an incredible fusion of Latin and other cultural dances fused with fitness.
It makes working out fun. It makes dancing
You
fun.
can't tell you're working out. But, as an instructor and as a wellness coordinator, I'm very serious about anyone coming into my class, because Zumba is so much fun, it's exhilarating, but it's work. I'm a huge advocate of not only doing structured cardio in a fun and motivating atmosphere, but also of doing the work outside of that, like in the gym with weight resistance and other things that can help you to do your Zumba classes better. All the instructors at Westerly Fitness are really asked to work out with weight resistance so that their classes are more powerful and they're stronger. And these instructors, we have such a great group of them, they're motivational, because what you want is to be an example for you students. So the Zumbathon is a great opportunity to bring together not only my Zumba team, we have 4 incredible instructors, but to also bring others from the community. We have other instructors coming in that work at the Y, they work at other studios, they have their own dance studios.
So it's not a competition, you're just getting everybody together
this is
for
a
a good
community
cause.
event.
Yeah.
And Mike Volpe, the owner of Westerly Fitness, is such an advocate of self-care and of awareness. And when I mentioned this to him immediately, okay, let's do this. And everyone has been so gracious. Even our flyers we're donating by Printing Plus in Westerly. Everyone is totally involved. The event is going to be this Saturday, September 20th, from 11:30 to 3:30 at Pine Point School in Stonington. Now, Pine Point School is another great organization. They're a fabulous school. They have a beautiful campus, and they were so welcoming to us, and they actually offered us a location, as a donation.
Is there a website for people to go and learn more about that too?
They can go on to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Westerly Fitness. They can see all the links to Party Hardy, which is the Zumbathon. You can also log on to, I believe, the Tower Street Community Center, where they're actually helping us to promote the event. I think it's going to be a great event. If you want more information, you can actually call us at the gym at 401-315-0115. We are located at 231 High Street. You can come in and see what we're all about, everything that we're offering, and get more information about the Zumbathon.
All right, let's take one more quick break and come right back. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay right there. So that is our show for today. One thing we wanted to mention, that event, this showing is airing after that event, but we still wanted to mention that you can form a team, correct?
Absolutely. At Westerly Fitness, the first thing that we did when we got word from Michelle about the entire event and we went to the fundraiser kickoff, we developed our own team. We have a great team from Westerly Fitness going. The team is comprised not only of our club members, but also friends and family of the club members. So there's 14 people in our team right now, and if anyone wants to join our team, again, they can log on to the westerlyheartwalk.org, and they can look at teams and find Westerly Fitness and join us. And we're actually doing the warm-up.
Man, I'm tired.
We're doing the warm-up.
Wow,
yeah.
Yeah. Annabelle, it's for a great cause, so
It is.
definitely get involved with it. And thank you, you're so articulate. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
That is our show. You can see this show and many others on our YouTube sites. Until next time, I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Take care.